Hello, good people. Welcome to the Wednesday Wind Down. I'm Natasha McCray, and I'm super excited to be here today. We're going to talk about how to prep for a virtual date. How do you prep for a virtual date? I want to know from y'all, one, how y'all doing on this glorious Wednesday? Today just happens to be Whiskey Wednesday because I ran out of wine. So give me a shout out. Let me know you're there. Say, hey, boo, hey. And let me know where you're tuning in from so I can see your posts coming in through the comments. I can't see who's online, but I was eating chips, y'all. So you'd be like, you know how after somebody eats, they're like, well, hey, that's what was going on. I really want to talk about this because I'm finding that there are a lot of people right now who are either like fearful of dating, but I want to let you know if before March of 2020, you were fearful of dating, or you just was like, I don't know where to start. I want to let you know that now the playing ground has been leveled. It is an even playing ground for you guys. So I'm going to get into a few steps that you can take to prepare yourself for virtual dating. But I want to know where you are because the people that I'm talking to, and if you're listening to replay, hashtag replay, I want to know where you are. And that means that you are all in. You're like, yeah, I'm on this dating thing. You on the apps, you swiping, you burning up your phone, swiping left or right, swiping right to say, yes, I'm down. Or that's number one. Or number two is, nah, no thanks, I'm good. Number three would be, tell me more. You may not be committing to one or two, but you're just like, tell me more, please. So I would love for you to type in a 1, 2, or 3, just so I can know who I'm talking to, because the phase of prepping for a virtual date, the phases change. And there are phases for prepping for a virtual date that happen long before you even get to the swiping. And then there's the actual virtual date. And y'all know me, I'm into mindset. I'm into making sure your heart is okay. I'm into you designing the life that you want. So a lot of times, in addition to the tactical, actionable things that you're going to do, I'm also going to talk to the pregame. All right, so I see y'all. Hey, Yvette. Hey, Kay. Hey, Adrian. Nice to see you guys. So we got one on here. It's like, yeah, I'm in it. I'm in it to win it. I love that. I love that. So let me tell you why now more than ever, if you are really wanting to be in a relationship, the end game to being in a relationship is dating, courting, whatever you guys want to call it, but it's dating. You have to get comfortable with dating. So in order to get into that mindset, you're going to just tap into what it is that you really want. So preparing for a virtual date is really the pregame. I'm going to talk about the pregame, and then I'm going to talk about the actual game. The game is like what you're going to do when you're calling and texting and what kind of dates you're going to have. So the pregame to the date is definitely mindset. The pregame is decluttering, clearing out that crud about how you think men are. There aren't any really good dates. There are only losers online. Whatever that negative association you have, that negative mindset, I'm going to encourage you to clear that clutter. This is pregame, phase one. Phase one is understanding that what you want is a possibility. Phase one is no longer making blanket statements about the people that you want to date, or no longer signing up to be the mascot of dating is hard. Hey, Tiffany. Hey, Tiffany. Nice to see you there. I know I echo myself sometimes. So I really want you to think about the pregame and the game. So preparing for the virtual date, I'll just spend a little bit of time on mindset. That reminds me, if this resonates with you, I really want you to register for the workshop. I have a self-care workshop that's coming up. For those of you who do not know me, before I dive any more into this, my name is Natasha McCray. I am the Love CEO. I coach goal-getting, ambitious women how to be the CEOs of their love life. And it all starts with self-love. So today I'm talking about how to prep for a virtual date. And right now I'm talking about how to be in the pregame, for that. And then we'll talk about the actual date. So if this is resonating with you, which I forgot to tell you, go ahead and register at the self-care workshop, because this pregame is where you're going to have to tap into self-care. And at the workshop that I'm having in a couple of weeks, it's free, y'all. It's free. This workshop is hands down an amazing workshop, but it's free. So you tap into self-care that leads you to self-love. And when you are activating that for you, you begin to attract a different type of person. So we'll get into that a little bit in the workshop. But my main thing is to have you walk away with a blueprint for your personalized self-care plan. So enough of that. The how to prep for a virtual date. What I want you to do is I want you to identify, you have to identify what it is you want. Most of the time when I ask someone, what do you want? They're like, I don't know. So you have to identify what you want. You got to get your mind right and declutter. Get rid of all those, the negative associations. Get rid of your negative expectations. Ooh, negative expectations. A lot of times when we talk about people having expectations of, something being good, and like, oh, I'm going to expect this wonderful thing and then I'm going to be dropped. That's usually the conversation we have. But some people just roll up into something with just kind of like stank boo boo kitty energy, because they're like, yeah, you gonna do this again, or you gonna be just like the rest of them. So I want you to really identify where that negativity is coming from, past hurts. And I understand that is a guard, and that is a form of self-care, y'all. I'll talk about that in the workshop. Sometimes we protect ourselves with barriers, and I want you to be able to protect yourself with freedom. So I'll walk you into that. But I want you to identify what it is that you want, because it's kind of like when you are practicing throwing something, or I used to run track. And when I ran track, I was a hurdler. And in my hurdles, my coach never had me focus on the hurdle. I always focused beyond the hurdle. That might be something there, y'all. That's interesting. Focus beyond the hurdle. I just got that. But yeah, so my coach, he was this Russian track coach, and he'd be like, Natasha, you don't focus on the hurdle. You focus on the going through the hurdle, the other side of the hurdle. So when you're thinking about dating can be a hurdle for you. And I want you to focus beyond the hurdle. You have to figure out what you want. And 9 times out of 10, it's that you want to be in a relationship. And if it's not that you want to be in a relationship, it's that you want to have healthy relationships, healthy dating relationships, a healthy dating life, a wonderful dating life, a feel-good dating life, a boss chick dating life. You want to date like a boss. So I got carried away. So I really want you to think about that thing, that you really want. Focus beyond the hurdle. So that's phase 1. That's pre-gaming. So let's talk about the game. Let's talk about when you have decided to step out of your comfort zone and get online. How many of you are online? Let me know. If you're online, you should be proud about it. Say me, say I, because there might be some folks out here. I see a lot of women watching. There might be some brothers out here looking like, hey, she online. Let me talk. We used to have a guy named Chuck who would come on here and chat it up with all the ladies. All right. So if you are in the game, and if you are going to do the pre-game work and decide you're going to get in the game, this is something that I taught about in Date Like a Boss Challenge. Some of you guys have been in there. If you've been in Date Like a Boss Challenge, just chime it up in the comments and let them know how it was for you. But when you are, y'all see how I feel? I love the whole access of dating. Adrian, yes, honey, proud. Yes, you are in it to win it. So I talked about negative expectations earlier in phase 1, pre-game. But let's talk about removing the expectation in phase 2. Removing it completely. And taking this pause. Yeah, Lottie remembers Chuck. Taking the pause and decide, like you take that pause and say, okay, no expectations, but you're going to encompass this moment in time to see someone and be with someone and not be preoccupied about what this could be or what your baby's going to look like, or if you could even have babies with him, or if they'll be a good father. I want you to look at the date you're about to go on as the most magnificent, magical moment in time that you are the princess of. You're the princess of a moment in time. And if you're a princess of a moment in time, this moment that you're allocating with this person is going to be magical, regardless if it is a love connection or not. Usually what happens is we're preoccupied about what it could be. We're preoccupied about what it could be. So I want you to stop, say this is going to be a magical moment in time, and just look at that as what it is. So let's talk about, all right, when you guys start talking, you're online, and then you may talk on the phone. You're like, yeah, let's do a date. One, don't be afraid to show your face. Be okay with it being a straight video date. Sometimes people want to stay online for a long time. On phone for a long time, or even online for a long time. This is weird because I used to say get offline as quick as possible, which meant get face-to-face as quick as possible. So that's what it really means right now. So if you're on the phone or you are online, decide to get face-to-face as quick as possible. Because innately, there are things that happen where you are going to pick up on facial cues, and you're going to see how people respond. And our eyes, we actually fall in love with every sense of our body. We fall in love with every sense of our body. Sight, taste, smell, touch. Like, we fall in love with all of it. So I want you to be able to maximize virtual dating, maximize as many senses as you can versus, the touch and the smell, which should happen later on, which I hope, you'd be doing COVID tests, but that's a whole nother story. But I'm not going to number them. I was about to say number, and I can't remember what number I was on. But so you're looking at it as a magical moment in time. You're getting face-to-face as quick as possible. And also have a list of ideas of the types of dates that you really want to go on. Because 9 times out of 10, the guy's going to ask. I think they ask out of courtesy, but then you run into some who are like, I got you covered, boo. And I love those, I got you covered. But there are some who might be just as apprehensive about this whole process as you are. So they love when you can give them options. So think about activities that will allow your best light to shine. I had a client who was in Date Like a Boss Challenge a while ago, and she was like, I love physical. She loved physical things. So like batting cage and what do you call that? Golfing, miniature golf. She loved that. And so those were things that were in her arsenal to suggest. Because a guy likes to know that you can be an assistant, a helpmate. And what that means is when they're coming up with ideas, sometimes it's hard for them to come up with ideas, or they're afraid, like, oh, if I suggest this, she might not like it. And a lot of y'all don't even tell what you like, but your attitude says that you don't like it. So I would love for you to make a list of those magical things that you like. Make a list of the magical things that you like that allow you to show up in your best spirit. There are these decks of cards. I was talking about this with our therapist this morning. Yes, Mr. McRae and I have therapists. So we were talking about it this morning because I had been looking at them online for a while, where it's a deck of cards that allow you to ask different questions. So that's something that you can add into the fold. Decide you're going to make this a magical moment. Decide you're going to make it a magical moment. Make sure that you have ideas for that date. And then also, I'm always calling it pregame. I would pregame a little bit with making lists of conversations. There's the book that is How to Win Friends and Influence People, which is huge. But making a list of conversation starters, things that you can talk about, questions you can ask. And to my ladies, do not be the one who's doing most of the talking, period. Don't do most of the talking. You can do most of the asking, because right now you're collecting data. You're collecting data to see, is this person offline worthy? Is this person offline worthy? So you are collecting data. And there was one more thing that I wanted to make sure I told you guys. I don't know where I put my notes. That happens often. But I just want to make sure that this whole process, that you are enjoying this process. And if it is something that you truly like, you want in your life, if it's something you truly want in your life, you're going to have to allow yourself to be available for it. You have to be available for it. And relationships come through dating. Unless you're going to have an arranged marriage, you're going to have to date. And you're going to have to figure out what's the best way for me to date. And that's going to be contingent upon what you decide for yourself. What is that dating blueprint for yourself? What I do for my clients is I create a container for them, which shows them different ways to get what they want. However, each person that I work with is personalizing that to exactly what they want. So that's what I want you to do. I want you to personalize this virtual date for exactly what you want. I'm super pumped up. I love talking about stuff like this. I love coaching women to be the CEO of their love life, starting with self-love. Self-love. So if you got any nuggets out of this, definitely leave that in the comments. And also just know that whatever it is that you want, you can have. You can have. And I'm here to walk you through the process of figuring it out for yourself. I want to make sure that you are okay, though, because we can talk about dating all we want, but if you are not okay, then that's going to be null and void. That dating whole idea will be null and void. So the way that you become okay with yourself is by tapping into taking care of you, tapping into your personalized self-care. And like I said, I'm having a free workshop. I want to make sure that y'all join it. It is free. You have to tell your friends about this workshop because it is changing lives. And I know women who have adjusted how they walk through life based on the work that they did in the workshop. You walk away with a personal blueprint for your own self-care, because we're all different. I can talk about alpha females, but we're all different. Every single woman is different. All alpha females are different. And so in the Alpha Self-Care Workshop, it's bit.ly Alpha Self-Care Workshop, or you can simply go to loveceosanctuary.com and register for the workshop. You're going to get a workshop guide, which is doper than dope, which will help you work out that blueprint for your personalized self-care plan. But I want to make sure that if you're in this whole dating process, whether you have just started or you're actually in the process, you are always going to be the most important person in this play. You're going to be the most important person. So I encourage you to love on yourself this week. Let me know if you liked this information, if this information was helpful. Totally let me know. Shout out to Adrian, who's out there, who's like me. I'm out here. And Lottie and Tamara. Oh, Tamara, thank you so much for the nuggets and the notes. There's a game called Table Topics that a great conversation starter. Oh, Table Topics. Okay, y'all. So Table Topics is a great conversation starter. I'm going to also look at the that company that I started following on IG because these conversation starters were absolutely brilliant. So I'll let you guys know about that. Go out, make it an amazing week. I love y'all. Share this post. Share it with the world. My objective is to touch the hearts of alpha females all over the globe. And the only way I can do that is if I have your help. So I'll talk to y'all soon. See you next week on the Wednesday Wind Down. Bye. Oh, Beverly, I'm trying to disconnect. Beverly says the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, is a great book for communication. I'll make sure I post that link. All right, bye.